Today, I had some personal struggles with, well, not necessarily today, but the last couple of days I've had some personal struggles, and it had to do with fear. Something happened in my life that made me fearful of what to do next. I guess maybe partly it was because it was things that were not in my control, that happened beyond my control. There's nothing I can do about it. No matter how many times I checked, everything's a risk. And then I felt fear, but I couldn't pinpoint it on anything. And I had to remind myself, and somewhat spiritually so, like I'm not quoting the Bible. I just remember it saying something along the lines of, God didn't give us the spirit of fear. Well, if He didn't give it to us, who did? Getting off of that, I also know that fear will immobilize you. I mean, we see it with animals on the road, or when something happens, we'll panic and freeze. It's like information overload. Or, we make quick decisions. We don't think things through. Things aren't as if they seem, which I guess will go along with not thinking things through, and maybe along with not making clear decisions. But fear is noise. It doesn't stop anything. It doesn't change anything. It affects how we think. It affected how I thought, and affected how I wanted to act in that situation or those situations. And I had to remember that. Replace it with common sense. I remember hearing it in an audiobook that fear was evil. And I had the thought, say, well, obviously there are some things we're going to be afraid of. Like if there was an attack or some kind of thing, you're going to be fearful, and rightfully so. But other stuff, like, we just say it's all in our head. Well, like, I don't want to get up in front of everybody and talk because I'm afraid. Well, nobody's going to jump out at me. It's just I'm sitting here and focusing on screwing up and not doing something right, or messing up some kind of way, and I keep making myself more and more nervous, because the more I focus on it, the worse I feel. The more I focus on it, the worse I feel, and it just keeps going in a loop. Instead of just going, you know what? I'm going to go out. I'm going to do it. If I mess up, I mess up. Just keep going. Yeah, it's easier said than done. But when you start thinking along the terms of becoming more bold and more fearless, and just not thinking about fear, it becomes easier. At first, I was choked up. But I kept reminding myself that if I allow this fear to stop me, I'm not going to get where I want to go. I won't achieve my goals because of this fear. And I believe that fear is maybe it's a bad way to say it, is an amazing liar, because it masks things, it changes the way you look at things, it stops you from making decisions, it stops you from getting up and talking to that person that you wanted to talk to. You won't approach people because of it. And one day, sometimes just like you get tired of it, and you're just like, I'm just going to go do it. And then you do it, and then you talk to that person, and that person talked back. It's like, that was easy. And it's like I built all this negative energy up, or this noise up in my head. I fed off of that fear, and then finally, I found out there was nothing to be worried about. Things are going to happen, and they did happen. But being afraid of it isn't going to fix it. I got to sit down and figure out and think my way through it. And I've got a plan of action. Is it the best plan? I don't know. I believe and have faith that it's going to work its way out, and that the options before me are all the options that there are currently, but who knows? Tomorrow's a different day. Maybe it'll bring different options. One thing I do know, going back to fear, it isn't going to help me make a decision. it's just going to make me feel worse.